Boom, baby. We're live.
Oh, shit. I got no witty retort to intro the show other than I'm here for all the motherfucking smoke. If you're not here to watch this shit, you can come see me outside at the parking lot behind the Walgreens in the field, ready to throw down, throwing smoke, baby. I'm Joe B. That is Randy right there, Mr. Uncle Randy, pounding that shot away. Cheers, sir.
Ah, damn, that's nasty. Pure vodka.
Ooh.
Ooh, that shit is rough.
The-
Yeah,
yes,
what's
that is.
popping, baby? Been
Uh,
telling you what. I was giving all that shit to the UFC for having so many cards, and now this lull, and I regret bitching about how many cards there were.
Well, I mean, part of it, right? It was good because we had the holidays. It was nice. You get to spend time with your family. I had a lot of family shit come up that I really wasn't looking forward to, but when your family needs you, you're there.
For sure.
I said, death in the family, gotta be around. But holidays are over. Now we're back.
We are back. We got some big shit coming up in the near future for in the MMA world. We got some big fights coming up. We got a pretty good little card this weekend, so I'm excited to get back into it.
Hell yeah, dude! The return of Struve. That's the almost more impressive one. Ben Rothwell coming out of who knows where, some closet somewhere. Just
Dude, that guy needs to shave his shoulders. Him and Arlovsky. That was
uh,
their last fight. I don't know if you remember, but Rothwell's coming off two losses. He lost to Ivanov, the guy that Derek Lewis just beat,
yeah.
and he got destroyed for 3 rounds by Arlovsky. So he's coming off two subpar performances. Struve lost 3 in a row, won his last one by an arm triangle, but before that he had lost 3 in a row. Both these guys are begging to get out of the octagon.
Oh yeah. I mean, maybe they can then go over to Bellator and make a little bit more cake. But to be fighting still after their time in, you almost feel bad. Like they're almost at that point where you want them to stop fighting, but I'm sure because they were so early in the history of the UFC that their pay is not what they're getting paid now.
Yeah.
Like you want to be a fighter now because you're making more money than you would 10 years ago, 12 years ago,
Oh,
unless you
for
were those
sure.
top guys. And then you got 245 right around the corner, Usman and Covington, dude. I mean that whole card is sick.
It is.
I'm very excited for that one. Is that going to be the last one for the year?
Yeah, that's the
That
last one. That's the last, pay per
y-
view. But
right.
I think the best fight on that card that I'm looking forward to is seeing Amanda Nunez back.
Hell yeah.
Honestly, the goat.
Hell yeah. By now she is the goat out of anybody, right? I mean, the
Yeah.
legend killer. She killed them all.
Yeah, I don't know of another fighter that you can necessarily say that about that KO'd the best in the fucking whole company when they were in their prime. I know that Verdum beat a couple of legends, but they were toward the ass end of their careers. Legend killers, I don't think there's one better than fucking Amanda Nunez.
I don't think so. I think she's definitely becoming one of my favorites to watch inside and outside. Like she's just a genuine person that you there's no attitude with her outside the ring.
Here's what my big thing about 245. What interests me the most is people have turned so anti Colby Covington. They were anti anyway because of the stick, right?
Yeah.
But now it's even grown worse to where there's like a lot of vile hatred. And when he beats Usman, how much of a nightmare is he going to be to negotiate with in the UFC? I think he's fucking himself. He's almost making himself where he's not going to be, where Dana's just not going to negotiate with him.
What I mean, it depends on what he draws into. That's if you're bringing the eyeballs, they're going to go to the table with you at any time. But if you're not, if you're just running your mouth, and even if you're winning, but you're still not bringing in the numbers, they're not going to fuck with you.
Oh,
Ugh.
for sure. But here's my thing: is where he lucks out is when he beats Usman, and because Masvidal, I think the Masvidal Nick Diaz fight is about to be announced. Nick Diaz posted a cryptic thing on his Instagram yesterday about big news coming up about a fight.
Oh shit.
Jorge has acknowledged that he wants to honor that run back. And if he fights Nick, that honors the run back to Nate. Just so everybody's clear. That's the same as running it back with Nate as far as honoring his commitments.
Right.
Like they can't give him shit and make him fight Nate again, which he always could, but this makes up for it. And Jorge's been getting stem cell treatments on his hands out in LA, which shows you that he's not getting surgery. So it's kind of a temporary patch. So I
Ooh.
think he's going to fight Nick. Be the first time I've ever picked against the Diaz, but I would take Jorge in that fight.
Ooh.
And as long as Connor does his thing and beats Cerrone, those two are going to fight. I'm
Dude,
telling you, I see it.
I know. I do not want to see that fight at all. I'm not interested in it. If anything, wait, if he beats Cerrone, I don't know. Justin Gaethje, I'd rather see him Poirier. I've always wanted him to see him fight Holloway again, just so Holloway could get that back. But
That's
I
true.
I doubt he'll ever go back down to 145. I could, I don't know, dude. I would rather see him fight Khabib again to give him that versus watch Masvidal pound the fuck out of him.
Dude,
He's not a 170 pound fighter. To try to get up that big, he's just not there. He's gonna
yeah.
get destroyed.
Well, I think that's his whole point. Like Connor's smart, right? I think the reason he's fighting Cowboy at 170 and why he would fight Jorge at 170 is because he can always have the fallback of I'm not a real 170 or those don't count. And Dana will back him and say the same thing. He's too little. He's just got big balls. Even though Masvidal has fought at 155 before, Nate was a long time 155er.
Right.
This whole like size thing is a built-in excuse. Now it works for him, and he's a genius because he uses everything. He premeditates everything. Connor, you got to give him that. He knows what he's doing. But here's the kicker: if Cowboy really wants to win this fight, I'll know it pretty soon because Cowboy could submit him easy. Cowboy's got very underrated jiu-jitsu and submissions. Nobody
Yeah.
talks about it because he's such a good striker, but his ground game is disgusting. If he never tries to take Connor down, then they made a gentleman's agreement to stand and bang. And a lot of fighters do that. They talk before the fight and they'll say, "We're going to keep it standing. Give them a show."
I'd still think I'd rather see him fight a fight that he can win. I just don't see it with Masvidal at all. I don't really see it with Gaethje. I think Gaethje would fucking knock him out.
Yeah, I mean, but in all that, like lost in it, I'm super happy for Cowboy. I think this is his
Payday.
belt more so, even more than a belt. He's finally going to be paid for all those short notice step ins for fighting 4 and 5 times a year.
Right.
Finally, the payday he deserves.
Yeah, that I agree with. I'm happy for Cerrone to get the fight and the money that he deserves to get paid after being such the company guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, you need a fight? All right, I'm in. Let's go. Fucking let's do it up. But before we dive too far into those cards though, you said you had some questions that we got.
Oh shit, yeah, yeah. I got a
Bang that
couple on
shit in.
Instagram.
What's up, DJ? By the way, we saw you. We see you.
DJ, what up? All right, Joe B. What is the plan with throwing smoke? Is it an interview show or is it an opinion based MMA/sports show?
So I mean, it's all that shit, right? We run everything. We're here for it all. There's not one thing I don't want to do. As we evolve and get going. I mean, shit, this is number 11 that we're
Yep.
doing right now. This is episode 11. We are still green, fresh, just both fans of the sport as we uh work with each other more and get to evolve, learn each other's timing, and watch all the cards that are coming up, buddy beatdowns that we have. The next step is to also bring in fighters to talk to them. Like I want to talk to anybody, all of them. There's a guy in Manchester, New Hampshire, Tim Karen, that he's fought on the UFC Dana White's Contender Series. He's fought on
Nice.
the Bellator card. He's right in Manchester. Why not have him come in, or at least reach out and be like, "Yo, let's come in and talk." You're doing or get to do a thing that I'm a huge fan of, and
Yeah.
that you know, and a different life maybe I could have done.
I agree, dude. I'm telling what I love about this, and I can't harp on it enough about this show, is that it's purely something that I enjoy to do and you enjoy to do. So everything like honestly, I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. I like that we're gonna do what we love, and if people want to watch it, I want them to come on. But getting fighters on is just a dream for me and you. I mean, any of them. We
Oh,
both have so much respect for these guys and what they do. I mean, it started with McDojo Life. How cool was that?
oh yeah, dude, that was a fun episode. I think we both uh it was interesting to try to both get questions in there and like, oh, well, let me
Oh,
get
for
my
sure.
place. You know what I mean? And even like because we have different experiences, so uh different. They were a lot of different questions. I don't think we touched on anything the same at all.
Yeah, for sure.
So to even get fighters and we both see them differently. So to, I mean, talk to any of them, all of them.
Yeah, I mean, we got. I talked to Warren today on Instagram. I want to get him here to record it live with us.
That's what's up.
War the Destroyer, Kool Aid Man,
I mean, dude, we got Eric Honors coming in 2 weeks.
dude. That one's huge. I've got a huge, not only a man crush because he was a fucking Bama legend, um, winning a national title at Alabama, but then he, decides, you know what? Hey, I don't like a desk job. Once he was done with football, I'm going to start training MMA. Oh shit, I'm in the UFC within a couple of years. Like people forget how raw he still is, and despite his record, which is very good, he won 2 regional belts before he came to UFC. He's been in every fight. I mean, I think he got robbed against Machida, so he's willing to. He went to Brazil and took on Machida in Brazil
Which is ballsy.
as a new guy and loved it. I mean, I can't wait to talk to that guy. He's fucking.
Yeah,
And how
dude,
cool of him to agree to come on. What a dude.
hell yeah. So I mean, it's, I want to connect with these people. I would love to go out there. Like, I met Joe Lozon once because his brother was fighting at like a local event before he went into the UFC. So it's, we're fans of the sport. Why would you not want to talk to the people that do that? So it's not so much, I mean, it's interview conversation with fighters, but also give my opinions on what we've watched, right? It's all of it.
Absolutely. I mean, learn. And here's the thing that's new, that's weirdest to me. I'm just now learning it. Is MMA Twitter is a whole nother Twitter.
Yes, it is.
Like it's different than the other Twitter, which was a new world to me
Oh
in
shit,
its
dude.
own.
It I heard you talking about it on like Merit AF about being on Twitter and how it's like it's an alternate universe. And
Yeah,
then you have like universes within the universes. Like Twitter is the multiverse. You have like a podcast Twitter, and depending on which podcast network you fuck with, you have like that whole
for sure.
universe. And then there, oh, if you get into true crime, I'm sure there's a whole, hashtag true crime podcast. Like hashtag MMA Twitter is a beast of a thing. I mean, that's basically what Black Twitter is too, right?
Mhm.
It's its own universe within a universe.
But MMA Twitter is strange because you don't know if you're fucking with somebody that is for real trained savage or just some schmuck in his mom's basement. And that's the beauty of it, you know?
Yeah, I think not that you can tell. Some of them ask real shit. Like I like
Yeah.
listen to like the Fighting with Myself podcast
Great show.
from time to time with the, and him on Twitter. He's pretty good. It's trying to interact with that more. It's just, it's hard, man. There's so many people.
Yeah, there is. And there's, the great thing about it though is you're absolutely right. With MMA Twitter though, you can pretty much identify who knows their shit pretty quick. And I think that those motherfuckers look at that and decide whether or not they're going to fuck with you. Like, cause they don't want no casuals up in that motherfucker trying to bounce around knowledge.
Yeah. Do you find it hard to see when you see like Connor stands? Like if nobody looks at him objectively, you just have him, somebody riding his dick no matter what.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's definitely that for a few different fighters, but Connor's still, It amazes me how polarizing he still is to some people with the lack of credentials in the last 3 to 4 years. But he's
Yeah,
still a needle mover. I mean, he's still people. Everyone wants to fight him to get paid.
right. Yeah, no, I agree.
And I mean, it's all for me. If he comes out and puts on a show against Cerrone, I got to see it though, because it's a good fight. I think he picked the right opponent, so he'll have somebody that's going to stand up with him and trade, that has a reputable chin, and that isn't going to just take him down and submit him. Although Cowboy could do that, and I would actually like to see that, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to see a kickboxing fight, and I'm not ready to make my pick yet because I'm on the fence. It's fuck, man. I don't know.
Do you see him going back to 155? Probably not, right? He's just
No,
going to stay up there.
yeah, I think another reason why he's not fighting at 155 is Connor's bigger than people think, and he killed himself to make 145, even to make 155. 145 was gross to look at. If people remember
Yeah.
his weight, they were disgusting. I mean, he looked like he was dying, and he likes to eat, and he's not the smallest. He's just stature wise, shortness. He's not that. He's pretty short, but he's got some. He's filled out a little bit more, and he hadn't been as active. So I think he just told him there's no way I could cut the weight by January 18th. And to keep it all in line to where Jorge and him can fight, I think they're really basic. I really think, and not to toot my horn, but the Uncle Randy video I put out saying how Jorge gets paid,
Yeah.
I really think that's how it's going to roll out. I really
Yeah.
think it's going to be Nick, Connor, Colby.
Yeah,
And
no,
then
you
Jorge can do whatever the fuck he wants.
yeah, no, definitely. You definitely
Shout
laid
out to
out
Game Bread.
you definitely laid out a solid plan of attack, kind of like what I was saying before. I think one of our first or second episodes about like John Jones, how I see it structuring through in his return. But
Yeah, I'm actually back on where I had fallen off the John Jones. I went back and watched some of his fights. It's good to have Fight Pass and shit and be able to look up shit.
fuck yeah.
But and I was listening to Brendan Schaub and Joe Rogan did a show that dropped today. Their Joe Rogan's MMA show. And they were talking about. I made an interesting point. They were both saying everybody's talking about John hasn't looked as good in his last 3 fights, but they said go back and watch him. It looks like he's just playing with his food. He hasn't had like a real challenge, like somebody to really fire his ass up. And he's so good that he can do that. So I'm interested to see if we can get a reinvigorated John Jones. And I think he needs to be that way for Dominic Reyes, because this is a young cat that's not, fucking around.
No, he's coming in like Weidman against Silva.
Yeah.
Like he's not going to be intimidated by the fuckery or any of the fakery shit that goes on in the ring. He's probably, I would imagine, going to be watching those kicks to the knees and able to maneuver. Maybe John Jones is still, he's one of the goats. Also, you can't deny what that kid's done.
Yeah, I want him to move up to heavyweight though. If he beats Reyes, he's cleaned out his division. He needs to go up and fight somebody new. Solidify himself. I don't think nobody can fuck with him even at heavyweight.
I mean, that's always been the question, right? How good can he do if he goes up? Why hasn't he gone up? I mean, especially with Rumble coming back, does that fight happen?
Yeah. Well, I haven't heard much from Rumble lately. Where the fuck are we with that?
I think he's looking at what, July or either March or July between there for his return.
Yeah, I would love for that to happen. That would actually be great if that's how John Jones welcomed him back to the UFC for a heavyweight bout with Rumble.
Couldn't you just kick his leg?
Watch that in a second.
Hell yeah. Couldn't you just kick Jones' legs? He's got very thin legs. I mean,
dude,
I'm sure
they're so thin, but he's so long. Like he's so made to be a fighter. His wingspan, I mean, it's incredible. He's very hard to reach unless you're, which is why Dominic is an interesting fight, because he's almost a mirror copy, like long arms, very long arms, long legs, short torso, just like John Jones. So this could be interesting. Last guy that was like that was Gustafson. And the first one, he gave John everything he could take.
Yeah, but it makes you wonder if what John was saying is any part of that. Like, I beat you while doing coke the night
Oh,
before,
yeah,
or
for
whatever,
sure.
3 days. You know what I mean? Or partying like 3 days before. So, and then the second fight, like he took it to him.
Oh, he destroyed him.
But it'll be interesting to see what happens with them. But yeah, back to your question, we're here for it all. We're gonna evolve, grow, get better, and bring on everybody.
All right, we got one more question. This one's for me, Uncle Randy, but we can both answer. Who's your fighter of the year? All right, we kind of touched on this a couple episodes ago. We were tossing around names. I've went ahead and I've made my claim. My fighter of the year is Jorge Masvidal. It has to be. I've done all the math with the impressive wins. I mean, killing Darren Till, killing fucking Ben Askren, literally killing him,
Yeah.
and then damn stopping the Terminator from cuts and whooping him the whole time. I mean, people don't get it twisted. He was now we don't know what Nate would have done. I wanted to see it go on, but up till then, there was no doubt who was in control of that fight. So I got to go Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah, he would probably be my pick throughout the year. If not, I mean, Justin Gaethje was close. He had good fights throughout. He beat Cerrone, which I mean, that is an odd win. Going back and watching that, especially where he's waiting for the ref to stop it. Beating Poirier,
Yep.
he was on the trail to get to Khabib. If it wasn't for the whole Tony Ferguson, are we going to fight? Not going to fight. Now we are going to fight. Fifth time around. But yeah, I would definitely agree with you as Masvidal being number one throughout the year.
Yeah, I would probably do Gaethje and Stylebender as my
Mm,
B's. Like those would be my three for sure, like fighter of the year candidates.
yeah.
I couldn't be mad at any of those. Here's where Gaethje fits it. He is so left out with Conor McGregor deciding to fight at 170 and everybody having dance partners and all the 170 talk with, you got Jorge maybe and Conor, all this shit. Gaethje is just kind of sitting there and nobody wants that smoke. No fighters want to go. Nobody calls out Justin Gaethje. If you notice that, which is crazy. Nobody says I want that guy because nobody wants that shit that you're going to get, that Tasmanian devil.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So what do you do with him?
I don't know. Like, I mean, Joe Rogan said today, and I agree with him 100%, that Gaethje is going to be on speed dial as the fill in for both the Tony Ferguson and Khabib fight. If somebody doesn't make weight or somebody, he'll be the guy that, they pay to make weight and be there just in case. I think he'll also be the guy on backup in case Connor or Cowboy fall out.
Are they fighting at 70?
Yeah.
They are fighting at 70.
And I have no doubt Gaethje would say, shit, I'll fight at 170. Fuck it. Either one of those guys.
Right. But he's not going to want to fight Cowboy again.
I think he would for the money. Like if it was to
Yeah.
save the card and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Play that company game until they owe you that favor.
I mean, but the Tony Khabib fight has to happen this time. This is the 5th time that they've made this fight.
What do you do if it don't though? Some bullshit happens.
Then a text. Then I say stay away from the shit. Or have them fight on an Indian reservation as soon as they're healthy and just fucking video it and pay-per-view just that.
Right. It's gonna be something like if some bullshit where it falls apart again, what do you do with them? They're both the top guys.
Yeah,
How
and
do you where do you
go ahead.
like where do you go with that? Like if the fight doesn't happen for whatever reason and you have to reschedule it. You cannot leave that just a question mark of a what if, what could have been.
Yeah.
They're the top guys. Unless somebody beats either one of them, you keep running it
I
or
agree.
trying to.
I mean, you never know it is such a hard weight cut for Khabib to make weight that's always dicey. I mean, he's put himself in the hospital with his kidneys shutting down and his liver acting up, cutting weight to get to 155. Now he did it very well. His cut was very good for Poirier, but prior to that, I mean, he had all kind of problems. But here's where I think they fucked up. You know, this fight's happening at Brooklyn,
Right.
in Brooklyn. So you got fucking
New
a
York.
commission out of New York. Tony is notorious for cutting everybody he fights because he's so good with elbows from the bottom and shit, and scrambles and knees and elbows from scrambles. You're
Right.
going to bleed when you fight Tony Ferguson. And so, what if there's a cut? They're going to fuck Khabib like they did Nate, or what?
Uh, but the only difference here is it's actually for a championship belt.
True.
So if he loses by the cut, which I mean, dude, everybody that Tony has faced, his last 9 opponents, their face has been like a murder scene. So if he's able to get that off before the refs stop it and dominate it, then it would be okay. Where I get what you're saying about the baddest motherfucker belt, where they stopped it over that cut. That cut wasn't really, it was big, but it wasn't bleeding. They had stopped it like
Yeah, I
that.
agree.
And because of the title of that belt, they should have let that fight continue on. If
Oh,
this one, if this,
absolutely.
if this one becomes a bloody mess and they stop it, then maybe you're like, all right, yeah, I get it. That makes more sense to me than that, and you don't feel as bad for Kahib if he loses. He's still
Yeah.
a bear.
Well, here's where my biggest, like, I'm actually leaning right now toward Tony, and here's why. Tony's a guy that has no problem being on bottom, no problem. And Khabib is a guy that always is on top. So that's fine. They're both comfortable there in the position that they're most likely to be in for most of the fight. They're both comfortable. The only difference is Tony likes to strike from there. What's Khabib going to do when he's in his comfort, his trust tree, but he's getting elbows that are opening up his eyebrows? And that's a whole different game. It's never happened to him. When somebody's beating him up from the bottom where he likes to play, if he reverts to standing up, Khabib's clearly not the most polished striker. He'll tell you that.
Right. No, yeah. Well,
So I hope it happens. For God's sake, though, if it falls out, fuck it.
oh, if it falls out, I mean that's Gaethje's spot. Like you said, he is legitimately the next one that you could take, because other than that, it'd be Poirier, who's ranked number 2, McGregor's ranked number 3.
Yep.
So Gaethje's 4. You got to give it to Gaethje, which I would like to see that fight as well. Even if he beats Ferguson, I would like to see Gaethje get the shot afterwards.
God, what a good fight that would be. Gaethje and Tony. Right? Dude, that would be a bloodbath.
Yeah, that too.
Epic proportions.
Tony's got that size, though. He's got that reach.
Dude, he's got the Eddie Bravo jiu-jitsu, man. It's weird. It's a whole different jiu-jitsu. It's an attack, scrambly, fucking strike while you're in scramble. Like, Tony's a different cat altogether. So I love all that shit. Well, I wanted to ask you before we're wrapping up or talking about this next card, what is your favorite fight of 2019? Have you picked one already? Do you know off the top of your head?
The Askren Masvidal, I thought was, can you even call that a fight? It was 5 seconds. Well, 3 seconds. Of course you can
call it a fight. It's one of the most epic things Dude, I've ever seen live.
That was the craziest shit ever. Other than that, the Kevin Lee one that we watched, dude, that shit was crazy. And it was fun, like doing the buddy beatdown and having that, sharing that moment where you're like, "Oh shit, dude!" What
I know. It sounded just like Rogan and all. This shows how much even Rogan loves it, because that's exactly what he does. But we were like, "Oh shit!"
It's just not out of nowhere, but it was so perfect.
Yeah, it was.
Those two, I thought the Style Bender Gaslam fight was really good.
Clearly, yeah, that's a classic.
Like that was pretty good. I don't think I can give a definitive answer yet. I'd have to go back to the beginning of the year. Uh, That's the
Yeah,
one thing about there's so
mine.
many fights.
I was gonna say mine are the Kevin Lee, just because I enjoyed the experience because we were
Mm.
live and watching it. It was very organic and awesome. And then my other one was Poirier and Max Holloway. That was a fucking
Ooh,
fantastic fight.
yeah,
Poirier is probably his best performance ever. Max had went up in weight and showed the warrior that he is because he got pieced up in that fight, bloodied like a motherfucker. But there's no quit in Max Holloway, so
yeah. Gaethje Poirier was good.
it was. Every fight with Gaethje's good. I mean, the my butthole puckers every time he enters the octagon because you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen.
Yeah, so many. You're gonna have to go back and actually look and see, like start from January and actually look down the whole list to see.
And that's what I need to do because there was a lot of really good fights on undercards this year that
Mm.
people probably don't even know the names of the people. I may not have known their names, but there was a lot of good prelim fights this year.
Yeah, there was like one of the first cards, like right before we started the show, that I watched with the wife. That the whole thing from early like UFC Fight Pass prelims all the way through to the main event was like holy shit! It was a lot of underdog wins, a lot of great fights. What's his um was it Casey? Kyle Casey or something like that. Kasem that
Yeah.
fought Dennis Bermudez. Like
Oh
the
yeah.
dude
Oh
was like
yeah.
two sizes too big for him, and
Yep.
still got the win out of it. Like fought hard. There was that dude from Canada coming off of like the 6 days that
Rocky.
fucking
Yes.
had to fight. What's his fucking face? That 6 minute walkout.
Oh, the dancing beauty.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, old dancing man. That was incredible. That may be my favorite. Actually, now that you say that, that was the most. I wanted him to lose more than I've
Yes.
wanted anyone to ever lose.
Yes, not just because like I'm voting for the other guy. It was more just because he was a dick. But then hearing the guy's story, you're like, yes, dude, you deserve to win. Even if you don't win, you deserve to win.
Yeah, I wonder if he's had another fight booked. He has to be. They had to have signed him, and he's going to get another fight.
At least one more shot. Yeah, right. Oh
Yeah,
shit. I got
yeah, that's
something
how
in
you
my
make
eye.
good for sure. That one was pretty fucking awesome.
Oh, oh
Well,
shit.
shit. So, what are you looking at? I want to talk about the UFC on ESPN 7 coming up Saturday.
Now you
We
got
got Overeem and Big Boy. Can't pronounce his name. I wouldn't even try. I just call him
Rosenstruik.
Big Boy. That's his Big Ugly. That's an ugly motherfucker, boy. But what a fucking killer.
Yeah, yeah. He just fought. What was it Arlovsky? Is that? Thought there was one more that he had in between that.
Yeah, he knocked out Orlovsky in like 29 seconds. Then he had Alan Crowder that he knocked out in 9 seconds
Yeah, so I think it
before
was
Orlovsky.
yeah. So it was after Arlovsky. He's taking the place of Walt Harris, right? It was supposed to be Walt Harris versus Overeem, and then
Mm-hmm.
after the tragedy with
Yeah.
his daughter, he had to back out. Dude, that shit's fucked. Dude, that shit's heartbreaking.
Well, at least the great state of Alabama is going to kill that motherfucker. He's
Yeah.
going to get death.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
pursuing death. He'll be dead quick in Alabama. Goddamn, that's how we do it.
Yeah. Saying he shot her. Like that whole shit's just heartbreaking. That one hurt.
Yeah, it really sucks.
His post on Instagram, like
Yeah, it was
saying his
tough.
goodbye, dude. That was heartfelt. Sad.
Shout out to to step parents just in that because he's the stepfather, but he
Yeah.
loved her. Called her daughter, all that, and Brooke's stepmom to my oldest son, and I know that that's a role that can be the most beautiful role on earth when it's done correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a really good person to love somebody else's child like their own. So it sucks.
Um, looking at the stats, Rosenstruik is 9-0 in the UFC, still young. Overeem is 45-17 with one no contest. I was
Yeah,
like,
and
God
he's got
damn, bro.
42 kickboxing fights, so he's at 91 professional fights.
It's insane. Uh, but that being said, I'm not pretty sure. I'm looking for Rosenstruik to win. I want to see some of these younger guys start getting the shots. A lot of these veterans, like who am I or anybody else to tell Overeem to stop fighting? But after Ngannou
Oh
broke
god, that
broke
left hook from hell.
dude broke his neck with that shit.
Dude, there's
That
no unreal. The craziest punch I've ever seen.
that was shit you see in movies or in cartoons with how
Yep.
far his head snapped back. So
And it
to
lifted him off the fucking
oh
ground.
my
When
god.
an uppercut brings your feet off the ground, dude, that's some
Uh,
movie shit, some cartoon shit.
so to see him still fighting, and if he pulls it out and can get on another ride for the title, like I'm all for it. But I want to see new blood and new stars come in
Yeah.
and start making a name.
I want to see Big Boy. Here's the interesting thing is, Derek Lewis is sitting back. He wants to fight Hardy and kill
Hmm.
Hardy, and he wants
Hmm.
to fight Big Boy. Big Boy gets a win. Either one of those, if Derek Lewis picks him, is going to be a nasty fight. I'd rather see him actually fight Big Boy because that's going to be Derek Lewis's chance to redeem himself from the Ngannou fight because it'll be two big boys that can meet in the middle and throw. Because Big Boy comes to finish. I mean, he's never been past the first minute of the second round.
Do you
So
think uh, that Lewis and Ngannou run it back at some point to try to make up for that other one?
I don't know, man. Uncle Dana's weird about that shit. Like, I don't know if he would. I don't think he's got the. He's too good of a businessman. Like, guys, I'm sorry, I can't risk it on you two fucks again. Now,
E- Even if they're both putting on a tear to get back up to that spot. I mean, he also said that John Jones would never headline a card
that's
again.
true. That's true. He does lie. He is a noted liar, and he does not give a shit. So
So
I would be willing to forgive them again because honestly, out of all that, who learned the most from it, I think, was Ngannou because
yeah,
everybody really turned on him and just, you know, like he was done. And then he just said, all right, fuck it. I'm going back to being Mike Tyson and I'm going to kill fools.
I mean that
I
was
wouldn't be surprised if he becomes a pro boxer soon, actually. And he's talked about it. And so is his coach.
switching over.
Yeah, to make more money.
Boxing's so shady though.
Yeah, but they don't. He's a big enough big boy that he could step right in there and start boxing. Which speaking of, saw the. I don't know if you saw the stare down with Ruiz and Anthony Joshua. They're fighting. Is it this weekend? Their
Uh,
fight's coming up. The rematch.
yeah. Who you got?
Well, Anthony Joshua cut all of his muscles off.
Ooh,
Like his coach, I think
interesting.
said you're too muscly. That was a big problem. He is so much more dad bodied. So my bullshit alert goes up. Okay, so he kicked his steroids because he was a freak. Look, he was just built out of granite. Now, maybe this will make him faster, more limber.
Hmm.
I just like Ruiz because he looks like a cartoon character. That's my motherfucker, man.
uh, I want Ruiz just because after hearing him on Logan or on Rogan, and watching that fight, I want to see him keep going. I don't think it was a fluke that he got the win the first time. I want him to show him what's up. I want to see that between Dante Wilder and Tyson Fury, and then whoever wins with Ruiz and Joshua.
Yep.
There is supposed to be that whole unification of the four belts. I would rather see. I want to see that.
Yeah. What I hope, and I hate to say this, really is hard for me because I'm an Alabama guy. I think Deontay Wilder's got dynamite in his hands, so I'm going to get a lot of hate from my Bama friends. But I would like to see Tyson Fury beat Deontay because I think he won that first fight. Even though he got dropped on the cards, I had him way ahead. So if Tyson beats Deontay or Deontay Wilder, I'd like to see 7 foot 1,000 Tyson Fury fight Little Ruiz, and then Deontay Dynamite Wilder beat Anthony Joshua's ass. I
There
would
you
love
go.
that.
That'd be a good. I'd, that'd be a good card.
And if old Ruiz could shock the damn world, I mean, he's just so damn. He just looks so sweet, and he's so nice, and his story's good. I want to see motherfuckers like that get paid.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. That's not that Anthony Joshua was a bad guy, but I
Now,
do
did
like
you
Rui.
hear Jorge calling out Canelo?
Yeah.
And Canelo responding very respectfully. He's a man that knows an ass whooping. He was like, with all due respect, Mr. Masvidal, who I love, please don't hurt me. But no, I'm not interested.
I think he would piece up Masvidal. There's just something about when you throw that technique that you're a
Absolutely.
specialist at something more so than like Mayweather with McGregor.
Well, I
There was
want
the
to see one of them with the balls to come to MMA though. Like it's always got to be the other way because
because the leg
there's
kicks.
absolutely zero chance of any of them coming into MMA and winning a fight. Maybe 1%. But
Yeah,
an
dude.
MMA fighter going to boxing, at least they got maybe a 10% chance.
Yeah, but them leg kicks, man, them things will shut you down. Takedowns will shut you down.
For sure.
Uh, Stefan Struve with Ben Rothwell, like I said earlier, I don't. It's
That's sad.
amazing to me that they're still fighting, both of them.
Didn't Stefan Struve have like a heart attack and a hole in his heart and shit? He's a giant.
Yeah, he had issues. That's what stopped him from fighting before. So why he's cleared now is interesting. I don't
Yeah,
know. And
very
Rothwell,
interesting.
dude, it just I don't know. You don't need to be here anymore. Those are the guys that I expect to see over in Bellator or like Ryzen.
Yeah, I'm taking Rothwell in that fight by just a KO of if he can get inside and just knock Struve out, but who cares really?
I'm sure he will. And Aspen Ladd makes her return after her failed lawsuit, or not lawsuit, but I know she was trying to get that last one overthrown.
Yeah, where
And they,
Durandamy knocked her out or
yeah,
dropped her and
she
all the
rolled with it.
fuckery.
Dude, I've watched that fight so many times going back. And at first, I was definitely on the side of Durandame. I thought when she like uppercutted and lifted her, but watching it, Ladd did kind of roll with it more and maybe could have done something had the ref not stopped it. But I'm not
Yeah,
super mad at the stop because when she got hit to drop her down, that hurt.
yeah, for sure. But I'm with you. I don't think she was out. I never thought she was out. Um, so I would err on, I wish they would have let that go a little bit because for one, Aspen Ladd's a scrappy motherfucker. That's her whole thing. Like she's a scrappy fuck. I think she's gonna work this girl just as a like, fuck all y'all fucking me in that last fight, and she's gonna maul this poor girl. Who's she fighting? I got it right here.
I had it.
Fuck no.
Yana Kutsin.
Yeah, no, she's gonna kill her. The one that I do have is the first women's fight is Rodriguez versus Cavillo,
Mm.
and both of those are pretty big prospects. And Rodriguez is stepping in for Claudia Gadelia, backing out of this fight.
Why'd you have to back out?
Yeah, and she's this girl Rodriguez. She's got 2 wins. She beat Tisha Torres and Jessica Aguilar, and old girl Cavillo lost to Esparza, and that's her only loss. But I think Rodriguez is going to pull it out. I'm just going to take her as a grinder. Plus, the Cavillo girl, her story is interesting. She went to Team Alpha Male, started training. Then her coach got into some shit with the people at Alpha Male, left to start his own gym in Thailand, and she left in the middle of camp and went to Thailand with her coach. Now she's coming here for her fight, and her coach can't get back into the country because of visa issues, so she's not going to have her coach in her corner, like all that. I'm taking Rodriguez.
Dude, what the fuck? Hell yeah! I hope she gets it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I just imagine as a fighter, if your main coach isn't in your corner, Like, dude, that's a big time shit.
We almost had Carlos Condit versus Mickey Gall on this card, but it was canceled.
I love some Carlos Condit, man. He doesn't
Hell
get
yeah.
enough. There's not enough respect on his name, except for the true fans that know that motherfucker's a bad motherfucker.
That is one. Oh, there's another fight. That's one of my favorite fights. Was him versus Dan Hardy.
Shit, him versus Robbie Lawler also. But yes,
Yeah, he
absolutely.
he
Hardy's
almost.
talking about coming back.
I don't know. He should not.
No, because he was getting knocked out, man. Like I remember his last. It was ugly.
Well, that was the. I mean, Carlos Condit knocked him out. And it was a friend of mine. Like we would just fuck around, slap hands or whatever, just um slap fight, whatever, fucking around. But I would always do like that little, just like almost front kick to the shin, and he'd laugh at me like, "Dude, that is so stupid." Like I go, "It's creating separation. What do you mean?
Yeah,
Like it works." And then so after that fight happened, I came in the next day and I showed him the video. I go, "See, bitch, like that shit
hell,
works." Like,
hell yeah, it does. Hell
but
yeah,
yeah,
it
dude,
does.
that is definitely one of my favorite fights. That was one of the things that fighting with myself podcast. I forget. I think it's Juicy. I forget it. I can't remember his actual name. But he had asked on Twitter like, what's one of your favorite fights? And I had put Edgar versus Maynard, both of them.
Oh
Really, I mean,
God,
dude, those two wars were incredible.
yeah,
And I feel had, I mean, I don't want to say it's sexist, but just still women's MMA is still younger than men's MMA. But if with Duranime versus Ladd, had the guy let it go, you might have been able to get more out of it.
yeah. And that fight, holy shit! What a good job refing that fight. Did not stop it because there were points in that fight it could have been stopped 10 times.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, that just shows Frankie's heart.
That fight, those two fights though, took 5 years off Gray Maynard's career.
Yeah.
I mean, straight up,
uh,
and it's understandable. I mean, how could it not?
I don't know. Those were wars. Those were epic battles that you don't really get anymore.
No,
Uh,
they're a couple of fucking studs, and that was in the. They're very responsible for the growth of the sport.
oh,
Those two
hey.
fights were huge.
To finish out the prelims, Thiago Alvarez gets his return against Tim Means, which I like Tim Means, the Dirty Bird.
Oh yeah, old dirty bird got accused of steroids, got cleared. He's the least looking steroid user on planet Earth. He would
Yeah.
never. You could tell he's never used steroids, and he got cleared, of course, for a tainted supplement. But when he's right, fucker is deadly.
Oh shit! And then next week, UFC 245.
Oh yeah,
Ah, such a good card.
yeah. I can't wait for that one. I've got shit. I mean, what is it? 3 title fights?
Yeah, you got Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington, Max Holloway, Alexander Volkanovski,
Yeah,
Amanda Nunes, Jermaine Durandame, which I'm surprised that she wants to fight Nunes, given the fact that she didn't want to fight Cyborg.
that's weird, isn't it? Like,
I
very
mean,
strange. How you gonna pick this one? You wouldn't take Cyborg. Shit, you don't want this smoke if you didn't want cyborgs.
maybe she was just making the point of she did steroids back in the day, so she shouldn't be allowed, or whatever the fucking reason was. But at the same time, you just up and vacated the belt, like, all right, I'm out of here, bitch. Fuck this. Like
And
that.
never really defended herself about it. Like just flat out kind of just bitched up and owned it. But damn, that was weird. But you're missing the biggest fight coming up this weekend. You hadn't even mentioned it. Fucking Tito Ortiz is fighting Alberto Del Rio from WWE
Oh boy.
on the Buttfuck Fighting Network on pay-per-view
Jesus Christ.
Saturday night.
He's doing bare knuckle?
No, he's fighting Alberto Del Rio in an MMA fight, but it's at some bullshit organization.
I literally thought you were saying he's bare knuckle, and I was like,
No,
Christ.
Alberto Del Rio, the guy that was a WWE wrestler. He fights MMA in a luchador mask. That's what Tito Ortiz is doing this weekend. Holy shit. How far is that? He must need some money. Jenna Jameson must have robbed his ass or something.
Yeah, that's when you want to see people find a different avenue, get into movies, get into talking, get into traveling and coaching at gyms or something.
Well, see, here's what or he's paying the price for is burning bridges with the UFC.
Right.
Now
Yeah.
he's paying the real price for it. Because had Tito shown some loyalty and been a good boy somewhat, he's such a great that had he stayed on with friends with Dana, he would definitely be employed because he still speaks well. He's still Tito Ortiz. He fucked that all up.
Yeah. But was it more cutthroat in the early days? I mean,
Oh,
Dana
for
was
sure.
more
Well, there was a
stingy.
huge conflict of interest too because fucking Dana White actually managed Chuck and Tito at different points, and he's also the
Yeah.
president. Like that's a huge conflict of interest.
Yeah. That's you can't be doing that shit.
But it was the Wild West. But you know, you like to see guys make amends when they're older, come back home, get you know, get recognized. But dude, with his neck, I mean, he's had 4 neck surgeries. I just don't want to see the guy fucking
Die.
carted off, not able to use his fucking legs.
Yeah, no shit. Uh Aldo's making his return.
Who?
Jose Aldo.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Well, he looks better than ever, dude. He's fucking dropping down a weight class and looks fucking beastly.
Mm. You got Uriah Faber's back at it again, over 40 age, kicking his.
Dude, California kid. At what point can he stop being called the kid though? But I guess he still looks 20 though.
Probably not. I mean, Christ, Brian Callen's still called the kid, and he's 50 something.
That's true.
uh, Matt Brown is fighting Ben Saunders on the prelims,
Oh dear God.
but that's the only prelim that it shows. Weird. Hooray for Google sometimes.
Dude, I love both those guys. I did not know Matt Brown, Matt the Immortal, is
I thought,
fighting again. But
he retired.
he's another one, man. Him and Ben Saunders both are getting up there.
Mm. It's not even just the age, too. It's
No, it's
the
the mileage.
right wars that they've been in. Especially, I think when you eat so many elbows, you were rely less on your jujitsu or submissions, and it's more about throwing them hands that you run into problems.
Well, I think Matt Brown's last fight was where Cowboy kicked his head off, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Cowboy killed him. He went dead stiff. Not as bad as Kevin Lee's head kick. That's the best in MMA history, as you said earlier. But I don't know. I'll watch that one. That's actually better, more fights on this card than I thought.
Say Kevin Lee.
So what's our plan? When are we coming back again?
We can regroup next week.
All right.
Go over, recap the 245 plus or give our actual picks for 245.
Yes.
Go over the card of the weekend, and then we have Eric Anders, and then done for the month, right?
Yep.
We got holidays and Christmas and all that shit, New Year's. Come back 2020 strong, start gearing up some shit, get some sponsors going.
Booyah. And I
Fucking
want to get everybody to start, like the people I know that listen on, a lot of them are on the Married AF Instagram. So I want to get this out to those guys. Start following the Twitter feed, the smoke throwing Twitter feed. We want to grow that Twitter following. We put both me and Joe post on it, and you know, you can post questions directly there. Just join in on chats when Joe will ask questions on favorite shit, and just join us on that hashtag MMA Twitter and get involved. Goddamn.
hell yeah, there's a lot of great shit. Other than that, dude, 2020 is finna to be lit.
Yep. It's going to be big. Goddamn. Hell, start with Eric Anders and get those questions in. I've already got a couple from listeners that want to ask him. I don't know if we'll be able to get to all of them because I don't want to keep him a long time. He may stay longer than I'm expecting, but I mean, I'm cool with getting a couple of listener questions if they're good. Me and you'll go through them and pick out a couple to ask for the listeners.
Hell yeah. No, that episode's going to be bomb. I'm super excited about that shit.
I'm be nervous. It's one of my damn Bama dudes. Damn shit. Uncle Randy's going to be sweating.
You have
Joe B handled the heavy lifting on that one. I'm going to be fangirling over here.
just you in that Tom Selleck shirt.
Mm-hmm. Well, shit, man. Y'all know
Yep.
me. I'm Uncle Randy Hill. I'm at Married as Fuck on Twitter. Check out the show, Married as Fuck. Just dropped some new hotness. We're back to our schedule. We're going to be recording every Sunday or Monday on Married AF, so we'll be having our regular one episode a week coming out. Getting through these holidays, goddamn, but hell.
Hello. You just froze. Uh-oh. Well, you know me. I'm at any pod.
Freeze a little bit.
Yeah, I'm at any pod all over the place. Any pod will do. You can catch me either Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm all over the place. I just had a dope guest with the Keep Rolling campaign, DeAndre Wilson on last night. Next week I have Daniel Underbrink, adventurer, photographer, hunter,
Nice.
badass dude. A lot of big things geared up for 2020 there, here, in a circle, civilized creatures, all over the place, dude. We're gonna fucking be blowing up. Do you have any big goals for this show for next year?
I just want to talk to as many people that are involved in combat sports as possible to just learn more about it, talk with people that enjoy it as much as we do. There's tons of people that know more about the shit than me. I want to talk to those people, teach
Hell,
me, goddamn hell. I want to learn, but I also want to let these guys that put it on the line come on here, have free reign, because a lot of these people have really good stories to share. And if we can help in any way to spread those stories, I'm down.
my one big goal for next year is to have Pat Miletich
Oh,
here.
shit. I'd bust in my pants. I'm about to bust now just talking about that'd be awesome.
Shit.
Stories that guy could tell are MMA lore.
Hell yeah. But yeah, man, you know where we're at. This is where we end. We will see you next week. Throwing smoke, baby.
Yep. We'll see y'all next week. All right, we out.